All right. Now, I'd like to propose a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters relating to union negotiations and other litigation items, which to discuss in open session may be detrimental to the town.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Selectman Gorman?
Yes.
Selectman Manley? You say yes.
Yes.
Selectman Federici, yes.
Just to clarify that the purpose of that, in addition to the matters that may be detrimental to the town, is for discussions with the attorney-client privilege to explain your options
Okay.
that may be available with respect to some of these.
Okay. All right, thank you for being so patient. One of the items that we were discussing in speak up? Oh, God. One of the items we were discussing in executive session was the fact that a taxpayer, a townsperson, had filed an open meeting law complaint regarding, I believe it was the March 16th meeting, and the votes that were taken within that meeting. And we've reviewed each vote, and actually I'm going to sort of turn it over to our town attorney, because and you got to come up here to speak into the microphone, although I don't know if they'll hear you if you're facing this way, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you're aware, the board forwarded this open meeting law complaint to me that was filed, asking me to review it and to determine what
Jim, can you
action
stand
would be. This is working now?
Yeah, they can't hear you in the back. Oh, so they will.
Can you guys hear?
Oh, now you
Okay.
pull it towards
Can you
you.
hear now?
Yeah, we can hear now.
Can you hear me?
A little closer.
Pull the mic a little closer if you can.
The board received an open meeting law complaint from one of the citizens pursuant to the Attorney General regulations. Once received, the board has 14 days to provide a response to the complainant and to the Attorney General's office. The board can also ignore it and do nothing. My recommendation to the board was that they review the complaint, determine whether they felt that it warranted action to be taken by the board to correct apparent deficiencies in the way the meeting was held that night. And basically, there were some allegations about the conversations that took place or alleged to have taken place, which our response is going to be that if there were any conversations, they were not inappropriate or otherwise in any violation of the law or requirements of the law. However, there are a couple of concerns that I have, and I've relayed that to the board, with respect to the posting of the notices of the meeting. One being the action that was taken to remove the chairman, where there was no indication on the agenda that there was any consideration of reorganizing the board. Any action that's taken at a public meeting is supposed to be at least some general notice as to what is going to happen with respect to that. And so my recommendation to the board is that they indicate that it was inappropriate, the vote that was taken, and that they have voted to they would vote to nullify that vote tonight. And then the other issue that was on the agenda that, in my opinion, didn't give sufficient notice to the townspeople was the appointment or the offer of a contract to the administrator as a permanent administrator. The decision to do that is appropriate for the board to make. However, the agenda item listed discussion of the interim administrator's contract, and the discussion really turned into the discussion of a permanent administrator's contract. So my recommendation to the board, should they decide to follow it, is to vote to rescind the action that was taken under that article, and then they can revote that in the future. But given the action of the town yesterday, that's sort of maybe not something that necessarily needs to be done. Other than that, my recommendation is just to respond with those two exceptions, and otherwise to indicate that we believe the board acted appropriately in the meeting that they held as far as they considered other items of the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. In light of, and following the Attorney Donahue's recommendations, I'd like to propose a motion to void the original vote, making the interim town administrator a permanent town administrator.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second for discussion.
Okay, any discussion?
The discussion is, as far as Greg Neffinger said that was on the agenda that night. Now, do we have the contractor or the agenda for that night? State that?
I do have a copy of that agenda, I
All
believe.
right. What does it say?
I believe it's item 11.
It says right here, interim town administrator contract.
Right, nothing about a permanent town administrator.
Well, contract.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose it.
All right. It's been a... This obviously would also serve to nullify the contract that was signed last night for the permanent town administrator. And I know it's been a long road for everybody, and it's been a struggle, and I'm gonna just throw this out there, and I may end up hanging here by myself. But I'm gonna propose a motion to give the interim town administrator his 10-day notice and terminate his employment.
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second on necessity. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I believe that was the last item, so I'd like to propose a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.